Rui Rodriguez.
Don't start like that.
What's the most common mistake you see with people starting their fitness journeys?
I think people believe that exercise needs to be difficult and hard for it to be effective, where a lot of the time it's not the case. Because if you think about how our body responds to training, you're going to get better by doing a little bit more than what you're used to doing, right? So if you take someone who's not done anything before, then they probably only need to do a little bit more than what they have been doing to see progress.
Yeah.
And you can also overcook it, right? So you want to be doing, let's say, 10% more than what you're used to see optimal results. Again, this is arbitrary number here, but you don't want to be doubling the amount that you're doing, because that might be too much too soon, and then that's when injuries happen and so on. So I think people think, I'm going to do a 10k or a 5k, and they've not ran before. Yeah. At least for the person who's been a year without running or 6 months, and then they go into like running every day, for example. Yeah. And the body goes, oh, hold on a minute, I'm not ready for this. Yeah. It's too much stress straight off the bat, and then they either get injured or they get too sore. Yeah. And then eventually they're like, oh, I can't keep this up, I'm too sore, and so on. So I think it's starting at the right level. It doesn't need to be too difficult. It doesn't need to be too much. It just needs to be a little bit more than what you're used to doing, and then over time build it up.
Yeah. Do you think then that's why you see a lot of people who start their fitness journey who haven't done anything for a long time, they'll go in hard and then they'll stop because it hurts too much?
Yeah. Yeah. So first of all, if you've not done anything before and you do, like let's say a friend of mine who doesn't lift and doesn't go to the gym wants to start training. If they just came for a session with me and did what I did, they wouldn't move the next day. Yeah. Because I'm used to doing it. Whereas if they came in and they did maybe, instead of doing 3 sets, they do 1 or 2 sets of each of the exercises, they're still going to be really sore the next day. I remember bringing someone for a session who's a friend of mine who so they haven't been doing anything. And then I literally did what would be a warm-up, would be classed as a warm-up for a lot of people who train, and they were really sore the next day. Yeah. Well, that's because they're not used to doing it. Yeah. And so what tends to happen is people jump into programs, or they get this program online or whatever, which are designed for people who lift and who are used to it, and then they're really sore because the dosage is just too high for what they can tolerate. And then they quit because it doesn't feel good. I mean, some people like the soreness, and we could open a whole can of worms in terms of soreness doesn't mean results. Yeah. But if you're too sore, then you probably did a little bit too much. Yeah.
So what would you say to somebody that signed up for our 30-day trial that hasn't done anything for like a year? What would you suggest they start with?
I would start easy. I would make sure you let the coaches know that it's your first time. The lift classes would probably be the most suited because they're the ones that are slightly easier to scale. Let the coaches know, maybe do a few less sets, start with a weight that is more manageable, and then we can guide them and help them with that. Don't start off by going from doing no days to 5 days a week. Yeah. So maybe a couple of times a week to start with, and then gradually build up. And then when it comes to things like the high rock sessions and the more intense sessions, go at your own pace. Again, communicate with the coach. But even swapping things out, like for example, if you haven't been running that much, go on the bike instead, because the bike is one of them things that you can go really hard on and you're not going to feel as sore because you don't have the eccentric loading. So if you're running, there's more impact, and impact causes soreness. Yeah. So if we want to try and avoid that fatigue element and that soreness and the kind of like the side effects of a hard training session, you can go on a bike and get the same results fitness-wise, but not get the fatigue that you would, for example. So little things like that, just start easy and gradually build it up.
I think one thing I always say to new people when they come in, if there's a first session, I always say to them, like, if you need to sit down and have a rest, you sit down and have a rest. No one's going to think anything of it.
Yeah.
Coach isn't going to shout at you. If you need to have that rest, you have that rest in the class. So don't ever feel like you can't just be like, look, I need to have a sit down and have a rest. That's absolutely fine. Especially when you're brand new and you're new to it, that's likely going to happen. You get tired and you're like, you know what, I need to have a little rest.
Yeah, exactly. And you've got to do things that are right for you at your level. You can't expect to feel absolutely amazing in the first few sessions if you haven't done much before. It's going to take a little bit of time for you to get your fitness and to start to feel the results coming through. But equally, you don't have to kill yourself in a session for it to be effective. You can literally come in and go through the motions. That's the good news. The good news is that you can come in and do very little and still get a lot out of it and still get the results out of it. An analogy we can use is like, if you've not been training before, let's say you're like, let me go back to food. Let's say you're baking a cake.
Yeah.
If you're completely new, you only need to be in for 2 minutes and the cake is done.
Yeah.
Amazing. Let's say if the cake being done equals results. Whereas if you've been doing it for a while, then you might need to be in the oven for a bit longer to get the same results. Equally, you can burn.
Yeah.
Right? So if you do too much, if you're in the oven for too long, you're going to burn. But it's always better to put the cake back in the oven. But once it's burnt, it's burnt. So come in, do what you can, and don't feel like you need to do too much right off the bat. See how your body adjusts, see how your body feels. If you feel good the next day and the day after, you feel, okay, actually, I can feel that I've worked out, but I'm not too bad. Great, you can up it the next time and communicate with the coaches, because for us, it's really important to know how you're feeling so that we can adjust the session accordingly. And then from an injury standpoint, we know that injuries happen when stress is too high and capacity is too low. So when stress overrides capacity, so stress is, let's say, how much stress you're putting through the body. So let's say how much you're running. So if you run loads and your body can't tolerate the amount of running you're doing, that's when injuries happen. Or even like something as simple as like, if I hit my hand on this table this hard, well, my hand has the capacity for me to hit it this hard. But if I whack it really hard, my hand won't have the capacity to tolerate that stress. And that's how I'm going to get injured. So if you've not done anything before, your capacity is lower. So you need to do a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. And over time, slowly build that capacity up. And then you're able to tolerate more and do more. That's why strength training is important. Because it makes your body stronger to tolerate more stresses. Think about it that way. It's like, whatever you're used to, if you're not used to it and you push it too much, and it's not in one single session, it's not one single session, it's over weeks. Right? You might not see it straight away. You get away with it for a little bit, but then after 3 weeks, it's like, well, I've done more in these 3 weeks than what I've done in the last 6 months, and you carry on. It's like, okay, you need to gradually build it up. That's the important thing.
I think also a good place to start, if you are new to us, is with our beginners programs, which are essentially 4 weeks of slow-paced sessions, getting you back used to that class environment, as well as going through all the movement standards of like the hierarchs for a lifting class, learning all the essential movements before you actually come to a class. That's enough. If you can't do the 30, if you can do those, I would say do those before the 30-day trial.
Just make sure you're comfortable with what you're doing. You know the movements, and you're performing them, with good techniques, so you can get the most out of the session. Definitely.
So takeaways: if you're brand new to exercise, not done anything for a while, start with maybe one session a week to start with.
Or even like, if you do more than one session, just speak to the coaches and just reduce the overall amount that you're doing within that. So if there's 3 sets, maybe do 2 sets. And please don't feel like you're letting yourself down by doing less, because that's actually the smart thing to do. So we always say train smart. That is the smart and the right thing to do. That's going to allow you to progress better. so it's not about going super hard, and it's about doing the correct type of work and the right thing for you. And sometimes that might be doing a little bit less. And then over time, you build it up and build it up and build it up. And eventually you'll be one of those people in a class who's eventually going to help someone new and advise them, oh, I started like this and now I'm in really, I feel really good about my fitness and so on. So you want to try and be a success story. And the way to guarantee success is to do things the right way, essentially.
Nice.
So yeah.
Well, yeah, I hope that helps anyone looking to get back into fitness at a slower pace. I hope that gives you a bit of insight into the best way to start, really.
Yeah. Cool.
Awesome. Cheers.
Yeah.